Yeah, Bang Bang Rail, 1976, 77, 78, Chelmsford Prison. I was there when it burnt down, but I'm on about Christmases, yeah. Chelmsford Prison was the best Christmas you could have, really. I mean, it was, I've been in some good prisons, but Chelmsford was the best prison for Christmas, you know what I mean? We knew how to do it. It starts off, people are running around getting drinks. There was not a lot of hooch made in Chelmsford Prison because people like Ronnie Bender, Jimmy Tibbs, the old man Tibbs I'm on about, and a few people like Tony Lawrence and them sort of people, and Alan Dixon, especially Alan Dixon, because he had a bit of sway about him, Alan, and he was good talking to the screws and all this, that and the other. And they used to bring in bottles. I mean, I got a few screws on my podcast, on the comments, and say it couldn't happen, but it did happen. Chelmsford Prison was a different prison altogether, and it did happen. And so there was plenty of drinks. Obviously, some people made hooch. The people who made hooch was on the other wing, I think B wing, and all that. They'd made the hooch because they really couldn't get it, you know. The people like Mickey Green, Tony Edlin, them sort of people could get drinks, yeah, and they'd get it in by the screws would get it in. It'd come in. It usually come in, sometimes it come in through reception, because people would send drinks in and you had someone in reception who would get it, bring it in, and it was that sort of thing. So the drinks was no problem. Hooch, I don't think there was a lot of it in there. I never see a lot of hooch, but I see a lot of drinks, bottles of drinks, yeah. So Ronnie Bender, his cell was packed with drinks, yeah. Jimmy Tibbs, his cell was packed. Tony Lawrence, Alan Dixon, but Alan Dixon was with Ronnie Bender and Jimmy Tibbs. Anyway, and then you had Jimmy Tibbs, rather, and then you had the food, yeah. So I was in the kitchen. So you had I was in the bakers. I was number one in the bakers. You had a few people in the bakers with me, but you had some good screws in the bakers. There was one screw who was on that together, but Mitchell, the SO in there, he was a good screw, you know. He was a good screw as far as screws goes. Works in the kitchen, yeah. He run the kitchen, Mitchell, yeah. Nice fellow, mate. And Christmas, believe it or not, he made cake. He made a big cake for our wing, yeah. A big Christmas, I wonder about a big Christmas cake, yeah. And because we were in there as well, we're bakers, and we made other cakes and things like that, and you know, all sorts of different currant pies and everything, you know what I mean? Minced meat pies, and there's so much stuff that went on there, yeah. So everybody had plenty of pies and cakes and all that for Christmas. And then you had the old man Tibbsy, he. Obviously, so Christmas he was a butcher, yeah. So Christmas really was about Jimmy Tibbs as well, because he used to cut up all the meat, and I'll tell you, he used to. When I say he never charged for Christmas, he was really, really good. There's people in there getting big lumps of lamb, lumps of beef. Even in the kitchen, Mitchell got a big turkey in there. They cut the turkey up. Tibbsy brought it in, cooked it. Ronnie Malloy. Anybody remember Ronnie Malloy from the Silver Bullion? Ronnie Malloy, he won the pantry. He won the pantry. To get stuff out of Ronnie Malloy is really hard. But Christmas, he let it go. So people were walking out there with loads of coffee, loads of milk, all sorts of biscuits, little cakes and mince pies and all them sorts of things went into the pantry, yeah? And because what happens in Christmas time, on the hot plate, you get all the bits and pieces like mince pies, Kit Kats, and all these sort of things for Christmas. So, they look after people on the wings for Christmas. But us lot in C Wing, we looked after ourselves because everybody worked in the jobs that run the nick, yeah. So we had it all, yeah. So in the kitchen, so you had Ronnie Malloy, who had all the mince pies, the cakes, the tea bags, the coffee, the milk, everything you wanted, he'd get. Ronnie Malloy was a bit mean. He used to charge everybody everything, but because it was Christmas, he let it go, yeah? So people were walking out with some nice bits and pieces for Christmas, yeah? And then you had Peter Lyons, my mate. Peter Lyons, he was on the coppers. So the coppers get lots of things going through the coppers because they've got to cook all the food. So loads of things come in. So he gets the bit of the meat. There's lots of milk that he brings through for people to cook with. You need milk for certain things to cook certain things, yeah. So Peter Lyons used to bring all the milk in and all that and other things, yeah. Christmas, listen to me tell you, Christmas in Chelmsford Prison was run by the kitchen, yeah. So then you got potatoes. The people that do all the potatoes, cut the potatoes up and the chips and the ball. I mean, because you have got baked potatoes. They get new potatoes in as well. Christmas new potatoes. Let me tell you something. It is like Christmas, yeah. It is the only thing that. Well, I said no. It's not the only thing because they had it. I mean, I remember Ronnie Bender had a little Christmas tree. It was about 4 foot high. It was all like, it was a proper Christmas tree that brought in. I'm not joking. A proper Christmas tree. He had it all done out nice, you know what I mean? I love Ronnie Bender, mate. I love Ronnie Bender so much because he was all for people in the nick. He was all for people in our wing, C wing, yeah? Everybody in there loved Ron because Ron would give you anything. If you asked him, he'd get it, yeah? And everybody had a good Christmas around them sort of people. You had my mate, Toby Ludlow. You had a few other people, what's his name? There's a few other people, I forget their names, yeah. Mickey Blackmore's, Roy Atkins and all them sort of people. I think Roy Atkins was in C Wing, was in B Wing, but he used to come over. And anyway, Roy Atkins, I mean, Lou Swallow upstairs, he used to paint all the pictures. They used to do all the decorations around the nick. I mean, it's like, you had proper people doing proper jobs, you know what I mean? Like, what is it? I forget their names. You know, like you forget Terry Millman. Terry Millman, he got done for the dome when they nicked the diamonds from the dome. And they come across in a boat across the Thames. He was there, Terry Millman, but I think Terry Millman died of a heart attack. I'm not quite sure. Nice fella, Terry Millman, mate. Fantastic painter. He was another one that done a lot of decorations around the prison. They put all paper up and draw all Christmas trees and the Father Christmases. Yeah, it was proper, mate. The Nick C Wing was like going into one of these Christmas things. You know, like you got these big tunnels you walk in, you got the reindeers and all that. I swear it was like that because you had people in the shops that do things and they come out and put things around the artists. Honestly, the Nick was, I mean, as a prison, Syrian prison, right? For Christmas, it was fantastic, yeah. And then you go on the visits Christmas, and the governor of Christmas and the chief of Christmas were gentlemen, mate. They didn't cause no problems whatsoever. They was just let the prison run, yeah, without any problems. Obviously, there's a lot of discipline. There is a lot of discipline there, actually. There is, but not so much so in our wing, C wing, yeah. So the governor and the chief, they allowed people all through the year, but more so Christmas, to bring in big Christmas dinners, bottles of drink, wine and all that, so they could drink on a visit, not get drunk, but, you know, and big meals, people come in Christmas meals. Listen, anybody that's been in Chelmsford Prison that's on my YouTube, YouTube channel, and do my comments, but I'm on about people in my times, not in these times, yeah, I'm on about people in my times. Like when I got there, got there at 76, 75, 76, up to 78 when his prison burned down, yeah. So I was there all that time, yeah. So I mean, a lot of people are going to talk about Chelmsford Prison now, but Chelmsford Prison these days are absolutely shit. You know what I mean? It's not. Nothing could be like that in nowadays. It was really, really good, yeah. And you had people coming from the outside playing rugby. I was in a rugby team. They come in and they bring in fags, they bring in cigars. I mean, it was allowed. It was like mad. You hear about these things and no, it can't happen. But it happens, you know, it happens. And to have good people in that prison, mate. I mean, the old man Tibbsy, Jimmy Tibbs, you know, big as an house, mate. He was such a gentleman, mate. You know, such a nice guy. Didn't have to say too much, very powerful, a lot of power. Same as young Jimmy Tibbs. Young Jimmy Tibbs, good boxer, mate. You know, he does all the pro fighters now. I think he's in the corner. I think he does the cuts. His son does the manager, but manager trainer. But the old man Tibbs, young Jimmy Tibbs, nice guy, mate. Never said too much. Didn't have to say too much. Lots and lots of respect. You know, I love Jim. You know, nice geezer. And Christmas, mate, there was everybody was on the puff. I mean, there was all puffing. I mean, there was no drugs in there then. It was just puff, you know. It was opium black in there when they done me up at Christmas. You know, I've told people about that when I got into the toilet, and they got me in the toilet, and they said, have a bit of it. I said, look, I don't touch no drugs. You know, I'm just training. I would train every day in the gym and in the toilet. And they go, quick, come on. And they got me on the opium black, and I went off my nut, and you know, and that's what happened with me. I went to the visiting room to see it for the kids' party, and then just got paranoid, and I was in a right bad way. See the vicar, I just went crazy. Yeah, I couldn't get back to my wing fast enough. Got in my cell, by myself, hiding nails, hiding razor blades, hiding everything. You know what I mean? It's mad. Playing Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd's and all these record players. You know what I mean? Do you only think about it like? And I had an armchair in my cell, and I had my cell done like a swabby unit, you know, because they cut up all the prison stuff and nailed it together, screwed it together. Yeah, you don't think it happens, but it happens, yeah. I mean, Ronnie Bender had a cell like a palace. He had all things hanging from the ceiling, nice lights and Christmas decorations and balls that turned around. Yeah, on the light, he had it all. Some people made a metal thing in the shop, all different colours. Yeah, and they put it onto the light, up on the light, and it all shone different colours. It was, and he still had all decorations in it, and it was just unbelievable, right? And Ronnie Bender, being that he was just a nice guy that got involved with the craze, got a recommendation about, I don't know how many years he had to do, but Ronnie Bender done nothing, mate. He was just there. Same as Gussie Lambiano, all that lot, everyone barring the craze, the craze just sold them down the line, mate. All that lot really shouldn't have got no bird at all. It was down the craze they got bird to, you know, put them in it really. But you talk to Ronnie Bender, he doesn't. I never really see him run the craze down, but he did talk about him a lot, you know. But you know, there was no reason for us to be in here. And Ronnie Bender was the only guy that he taught me, but told me about it, yeah. And I used to wonder how I did it, you know, how we do these things, yeah. People in prison, maybe not so much now, but nowadays, yeah, when you was banged up in the big prisons, and you was banged up maybe 24 hours a day, and you was just laying in your bed, and next thing you know, the doors open up, and you think, fuck me, I've only been... It seems like I've only been asleep for 10 minutes, but you haven't been asleep, you've been somewhere else. They call it astral projection, yeah? And Ronnie Bender used to do that a lot. He used to astral project, and he had these things hanging from the ceiling, these little lights and bubbles and things that go round and round and round. You know, and he would astral project. He'd tell you, like, you sit down and talk to him. I mean, Ronnie Bender had a really, really good conversation. He'd talk to you about anything you want to talk about. Loved his football, loved his rugby, loved all sports, cricket. He loved everything like that. He was a right sportsman, yeah. And anyway, so I remember him talking to me, because I was going in there quite a lot when he went to and I used to do a lot of neck rolls, because he had all these cushions, these big cushions I was putting on my neck and roll. I had a big neck, about 23-inch neck, massive neck I had for the rugby and all that. I do loads of neck rolls, yeah. And you know, I was always in there talking to him, and he was to tell me about, I think he was married to, or he was a Filipino woman, or over that way, Bali, over that way, somewhere I don't understand, you know, that sort of way, yeah. And him and her used to contact each other at night time through this thing called astral projection. Everybody's going to see it on my channel, yeah, that's all cobblers, but it isn't. It's what people did in them days, astral project, you know. And we all did it, but we didn't know we did it, you know. Anyway, so it was a big, powerful thing for Ronnie Bender to do, you know. So as a lot of us thought, well, he's gone off his nut, but he ain't gone off his nut. And you think Christmas there was Joe, I forget his name, Joe something his name, gingerhead fella, and he was a fantastic singer, yeah. And he used to sing a song called "You Want to Go to Heaven for the Weekend." No, I want to go to heaven for the weekend to see my mother in the skies and all that in it, and it's a break your heart, you know. We're such a good singer, and Joe Lott, I think, no, Joe Lott was it? Joe Lott, I think his name was Joe Lott, fantastic singer. And then you had then you had Alan Dixon from Alan Dixon and Georgie Dixon. They was ones who took over from the Craze, as well as the Tibbses and all that. This is a big thing, mate. All that lot was in there, you know what I mean? You had Ronnie Bennett and the Craze, you had the Tibbses, you had Alan Dixon's. I mean, it's a joke. You had Fraser, he took that little firm, you know what I mean? You had Tony Lawrence, Mickey Green, Tony Edlin, you had all that little firm, all that little mob, you know? And it was like, it was, I don't know, I was a young kid going into a world of people that are now maybe all dead, except for maybe Jimmy Tibbs, he's alive, but everybody else maybe is dead, yeah? And it's like, you think, crikey, man, I was around all that lot. I was around all them gangsters. I mean, they were all gangsters. You know, you got to remember that all them were proper gangsters, not like ours today. These were proper gangsters. This is where it all come from, yeah. Gangsters and villains, yeah. There was all very. I mean, you had Mickey Green, yeah. Mickey Green was one of the biggest drug guys ever. I mean, absolutely fortunes. I think when he left Chelmsford prison, he went to America and got 22 years out there for a big drugs thing. You know, crazy. And I've been away with some big names, you know what I mean? Some big names, big people, yeah. And it's like, memories, you know. I love it, man. I love the memories. I love the stories I've got. I've got loads of stories. My book's going to be fantastic. My book's going to be out soon, yeah. We're right to the very end now. Right to the end of the book. We've done over 1,000 words now. So that's a big book. I want to do two books really, but you know, one book at the minute is enough. Yeah, it's going to be well. It's just. I think personally myself, yeah, because it's my book. I think it's the best book will be published for a long time. You know, it's not just about my life as a gangster, my life as a villain, but it's my life as a kid. And what I went through as a kid, that's the big thing, about the first thing about my book, being a child, yeah? It's quite big. Anyway, Chelmsford Prison, do you know what? It happened Christmas. There was a screw coming Christmas on the kitchen. He was a nice guy. He was an old matlow, you know, they called them matlows in them days. They used to work on the ships. Everyone could think all the matlows are gay, you know, because they worked on the boats and all that. And he didn't really understand. He was one of the guys that just was a screw, but he loved being a con. Do you know what I mean? One of them, do you know what I mean? He loved it. And he used to like, so nice in the kitchen, he used to give out the cigarettes and all that and talk to people in a nice way. And one day, he said to me, "Come on, Lee, me and you go and get the milk, mate." So I've never been up the gate to get the milk. The churns of milk. It wasn't my job, but I think it was Ronnie Malloy's. But Ronnie Malloy, he said he didn't want to go. So anyway, I think the reason Ronnie Malloy didn't want to go is because the reason I'm telling you now, all right? So I went up the gate with this big barrow to get the churns, and what it is, the churns of milk are outside the gates. Usually, then the screws pull them in, and you come through the gate and put them in the barrow. So what happens? They open the gates, the front gates, the first gates, and then they open the big gates at the front, the big doors, open them up. I'm now in Civvy land, yeah? I've got a big bit of bird, you know what I mean? I'm in Civvy land. And I pull the barrow out, and I swear to God, I'm petrified. I'm picking up these urns of milk in each hand. They're fucking full up, mate. And then the weights and weights. So I'm massive, I'm big, powerful. I'm picking them up, putting them in the barrow, yeah? I can't wait, a box of apples, I can't wait to get back in the wing. I'm petrified. You know, you say, I've already done 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, I've got X amount of time to do. And you're thinking, wow, man, I could go here, you know what I mean? But where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Nah, I want to get back in there, mate, because that's my home, yeah? This is outside, this isn't my home. You know, even though everybody thinks it is. When you're in prison, mate, that place in there, especially in the place where I was at, Chelmsford prison, was my home, yeah? I had all my mates in there, I had everything in there. I didn't mean to run and not be able to do anything, you know, just run for no reason. Go nowhere, where am I going to go? You know what I mean? What's the point? And then get nicks and go back to these big nicks like Wandsworth, Scrubs, and all them places. What's the point? And then go to a big double A cat nick, and you know, what's the point? I just want, listen, go back to the nick, what's been good to you, you know what I mean? And so I just walked back in with the urns, but I can understand why him because it must have happened to one of them, yeah? And it is tempting. It is tempting, but you're not planning anything, you've not done nothing, you don't want to go back into, and when you go back in and it's the Christmas in there, mate. I remember they had put tables downstairs on the ground floor, and white sheets was on the tables, top of the tables, and everybody was eating a dinner, Christmas dinner. How nice is that? And the screws let you do it, you know what I mean? Everybody, like, you know, you're supposed to be banged up, but they let you sit down there and eat dinner. The screws don't go, and they let you eat your Christmas dinner, and you're eating your Christmas dinner like proper men. Do you know what I mean? And everybody's just, obviously there's a lot of people who wasn't sitting down there that don't want to sit down with us, but you're sitting down there, you're eating your Christmas dinner, you've got everything there, you've got, you know, every bit of food you could ever have at home. Maybe you got more in prison, you know, and you got drinks, you know, everything. When I say you got drinks, everything was camouflaged in a way that it was obviously, come on, you can take the piss out of the screws to a certain extent, but you can't rub it in their face as such, yeah. So the drinks were put in jugs and all that, you know what I mean? The lids on top and the jugs, and everybody poured it out. You had a bit of vodka, a bit of scotch, a bit of Bacardi, or whatever it was there. You had bottles of Coke, bottles of lemonade, and them sorts of things. So it was all camouflaged up as such, yeah. So, and you had all your, I mean, to have turkey, roast beef, roast pork, roast lamb, it's all there. Everything's there. And you had the mince pies, you had the Christmas puddings, you had the Christmas cake. What more do you want? And this happened for 3 years. Every year got better and better. And that was my part. That was me about Christmas in Chelmsford prison. There is a lot more, maybe, that I forgot about, but I don't think it was a lot more because. Maybe it was, you know, that's talking a bit Irish, isn't it? There is no words, but it was fantastic, you know what I mean? I mean, to live that life and to be with them people, all them people with big names, you know, like, let's go through it. Ronnie Bender, Alan Dixon, Terry Millman, Lou Swallow, the Barry brothers, not the Barry brothers, the Morris from Labrador Grove. They now got big studios, big paint studios. You got Tony Lawrence, Frankie Fraser, Mickey Green. Tony. There were so many people in there. There's a guy that does a lot of Christian work now on Facebook. Half-caste guy. He was in the Chelsea prison, but this guy, I forget his, I can't remember his name, but this guy I'm talking about, who done a lot of gangsterism around Euston and all around that King's Cross, you know, he was a right hard man, you know what I mean? And now he's into God and to Christ, fair play to him, and what's his name? Anyway, yeah, but he's and I got I'm gonna see if my mate Peter Lyons. I mean, my mate Peter Lyons from North London, me and him was close. We was white pals, rural pals, yeah. And, you know, and it's, I mean, I mean, you don't realise what we had, you know. And when Chelsea prison burnt down, it was someone who had been very spiteful, you know what I mean? It had to be a con. I don't think it was a screws. It had to be a con. had to be someone that was very jealous of what maybe we was getting over our side, and the prison was, I mean, come on, it's like, I was in the kitchen, and when you get on the hot plate in the daytime by the bell, you can see if the prison's burnt down, you see the hot plate, say, right, that's where all the food used to be dished out every day for all the wings, yeah. And they got good food. And they really got good Christmas food. The Christmas was really looked after. They had all the pickles they wanted, you know, all the meats they wanted, cakes they wanted, jam tarts they wanted, mince pies they wanted, everything they wanted was there. The prison, it was the governor and the chief, yeah, who run that nick, that really knew how to run a prison. You know, why? Why is it that you're in prison? Why is it the punishment you got was a big punishment? So why must you be punished again? Why not just let things go and let you live your life? You're locked up, mate. You're behind the walls. You can't go nowhere. Why not make things easy rather than make things hard? You know. And this governor and chief was like that. They just let everybody run it comfortable. Don't take liberties. Don't go over the top. Don't disrespect the screws. Don't disrespect the governor, don't disrespect the chief. The ones that did, that was on our wing, C wing, they didn't do it for very long. If they disrespected in any way, they come down and think they're going to do this. There was people like myself, like Togi Ludlow, other people that would go in their cells and smash them to pieces, and they get chucked out of prison. This is what we should do. Anybody that thinks they can come to the Chelmsford prison at that time when we was there, they get bashed up. It's as easy as that, and they get really hurt. And if you're around Togi Ludlow, he would cut you up bad anyway. But I mean, there's a few bad words people said about Togi, but whatever. When I was in prison with Togi Ludlow, no one took the piss. If anybody took the piss, they'd look firm and they'd go and cut them up. And I'm on about it, and they would go and cut them up bad. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Mail. It's a story about prison. It's a story about Chelmsford Prison at Christmas. And please like and subscribe. And have a nice Christmas. And have a nice... Well, you've had a nice Christmas anyway. But have a nice New Year, yeah? Nice one. Take care. Nice one.